previous classes, we have been discussing the long episode of Aksha Yajna. Finally, the Yajna has been restored by the request of Lord Brahma. Lord Shiva revived Daksha and all other injured personalities. Now, they have begun the Yajna with intention to complete it successfully. They have offered Purodasa oblations. As a result of that, Lord Vishnu appeared in that great assembly. Then, in order to welcome Lord Vishnu, in order to beg forgiveness and report what all happened to Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva is coming forward. Then Daksha requests them, my dear lords, please, all happened is because of me only. Let me do first honors of Lord Vishnu and beg forgiveness and then request him to complete this sacrifice successfully. Then Daksha offers his obeisances, respects and begs forgiveness and also reports what all happened. Then one by one, Brahma, Shiva, then the Ritvidiyas, the wives of the Ritvidiyas, like that, one after the other. Everyone, whoever is there, they're offering their respects and begging forgiveness and reporting what all happened according to their viewpoint. Then last week, we saw with text number 40, which was spoken by the Vedas. The Vedas teaching karma. They are saying that I offer respects to you, the shelter of Sattaguna, the source of Dharma, Jnana, Vairagya, and Aishwarya, who are beyond the material gunas, and whom neither I nor the other Vedas know. Because that section of the Vedas, which talk about karma, they know the Supreme Lord as Yajna. They don't know Supreme Lord as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Because that section of the Vedas which teach Jnana, they know the Supreme Lord as Brahman. Which teach yoga, they know the Supreme Lord as Paramatma. Which teach bhakti, they know the Supreme Lord as Bhagavan. Because that section of the Vedas which teach karma, they know the Supreme Lord as Yajna, and that is what their maximum understanding. They say that just like we don't know the Supreme Lord completely, others also don't know completely. So like that they say. Because as per their understanding, they can tell about others. So that is where we stopped. And today we'll continue from text number 41 onwards. So I request one of you to unmute and repeat after me. Agnir Uvacha.
Agniruvacha.
Tejasaham Susamidda Teja.
Yattejasaham susamidhateja.
Avyam Vahe Swadvara Ajashishtam.
Abhyam vahe swadhavarajyasiktam.
Tam Yagniyam Panchavidam Cha Panchabi.
Tam yajniyam panchavidam cha panchabhi.
Svishtam Yajurbi Pranatosmi Yajnam.
Srishtam yajurvihi pranatosmi yajnam. Translation. The fire god said, my dear Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you because by your favor I am as luminous as blazing fire, and I accept the offerings mixed with butter and offered in sacrifice. The 5 kinds of offerings according to the Yajurveda are all your different energies, and you are worshipped by 5 kinds of Vedic hymns. Sacrifice means your supreme personality of Godhead.
So the Agni, the fire god, is saying that I offer respects to you, O Supreme Lord, O sacrifice personified, Yajnapati, Yajna Purusha, worshipped by 5 types of verses, who act for the benefit of sacrifice, soaked in ghee, which has 5 forms, by whose power I, bright with fuel, carry the oblations in the sacrifice. So it seems that there are 5 types of mantras by which the Agni assumes 5 different types of forms by which the Agni accepts different variety of oblations and then takes those oblations to the respective deities on whose names the oblations are offered. All these things I'm able to do only by your mercy. So thank you very much for giving me the service. Thank you very much for empowering me to do this service. So like that. Fire of the sacrificial fire speaks. Okay. Yajna, the Agni of the Yajna speaks. I just carry the offering in the best sacrifice, but I do not know the truth about you. This statement is directed to the sacrificers who think they have knowledge. Okay. I just carry the offering in the best sacrifice, but I do not know the truth about you. That means I am simply following what the Hota, Udgata, Advaryu, and Brahma are saying me to do. Because Agni is a via medium by which the Yajna is accomplished, and the Yajna is performed by the 4 priests. The Hota, who is offering the oblations, Udgata, who is chanting mantras, Advaryu, under whose supervision things are happening, and Brahma, who makes sure that there are no mistakes. If there are mistakes, they'll correct it. These 4 are doing the sacrifice, and whatever they say, the fire will follow. So they always mostly say the names of different devatas. So the fire is carrying all of them. That's why he says that I do not know about you because my masters don't tell about you. This much only I know. So like that. This statement is directed to the sacrificers who think they have knowledge. All the performance of sacrifice, they think they are in knowledge. So the result of that, I only know that much. So then you are beneficial to the sacrifice, but actually you are the real beneficiary of sacrifice. As Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhurdam Sarvabhutanam Jnatva Mam Shanti Mrichati. Ahami Sarva Yajnanam Bhoktacha Prabhurevacha. So like that, various places Lord says that how he is the master of Yajna, how he is the enjoyer of the oblations in the Yajna, etc. In the Aitareya, the 5 types of sacrifices are mentioned. The 5 famous sacrifices are Agnihotra, Darsha, Paurnamasa, Chaturmasya, Pashu, and Soma. So we don't know. Aitareya, Upanishad, Shatapatha Brahmana, all these things are very high subject matters. We don't read generally all of them. We don't hear also. And these are different types of sacrifices that are being performed. So maybe somebody who is well versed in this knowledge, coming from Brahmanical community who generally do sacrifice, they might have heard all these things. But here, there is something called as Agnihotra sacrifice, something called as Darsha Paurnamasa sacrifice. That could be like every Paurnami one might be doing. Chaturmasya sacrifice, one might do during Chaturmasya. Pashu sacrifice and Soma sacrifice. So different types of sacrifices, which could be like popular sacrifices. So that's why he has taken name of these 5 sacrifices, Agni. So like that. So says that, oh my dear Lord, you are worshipped by the 5 types of mantras. Shruti says, there is the 4-syllable mantra, Ashravaya. The 4-syllable mantra, Astu Shrausat. The 2-syllable mantra, Yaja. The 5-syllable mantra, Ye Yajamahe. And the 2-syllable mantra, Vasat. So these are the 5 different mantras which are chanted at 5 milestones during the performance of an yajna. From the beginning to the end, these mantras are being chanted at different intervals and also many other mantras, but these are like milestone mantras, which indicates the 5 different procedures in the performance of an yajna, which accomplishes the completion of an yajna. So in that way we can understand. There is another Shruti mantra says that Chaturbhi cha dvabhyam panchabir eva Huyate cha punardvabhyam same Vishnu prasidatu. So yajna is performed chanting all these mantras for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu. What are those? May Lord Vishnu be pleased with me by the 4-syllable mantra, the 4-syllable mantra, 2-syllable mantra, 5-syllable mantra, and the 2-syllable mantra, which are mentioned in the previous statement. Ashravayat, Ashrosat, Yaja, Ye Yajamahe, and Vasat. Yajna means the form of sacrifice. So like that, the Agni is offering his respects to the Supreme Lord, who is the main person behind an Yajna. But the performers of Yajna may not know that. So like that, they are telling. Okay. Next, Deva Uju. The Devatas are offering their prayer. All the Devatas assembled in the sacrifice who came to accept the oblations are also offering prayers. पुराकल्पापाये स्वकृतम् उदरीकृत विकृतम्.
पुराकल्पपाये स्वकृतम् उदारीकृत्य विकृतम्.
त्वमेवाद्यस्तस्मिन् सलिले उरगेन्द्रादिशा शयने.
तमेवाद्यस्तस्मिन् सलिल उरगेणन्द्राधिस्यने.
पुमान् शेषे सिद्धिर्हृदि विमृशि ताद्यात्मपदवी.
पुमान् शेषे सिद्धैर्हृदि विमासिताध्यात्तं पदाभिः.
स एवाध्यक्ष्णोर्यपति चरसि भृत्यान् अवसिना.
स एव दक्षिणेव पतिर्चरसि भृत्याम् अवसीनः. Translation. The demigod said, Dear Lord, formerly when there was a devastation, you conjured all the different energies of material manifestation. At that time, all the inhabitants of the higher planets, represented by such liberated souls as Sanak, were meditating on you by philosophical speculations. You are therefore the original person, and you rest in the water of devastation on the bed of the Sesa snake. Now today you are visible to us, who are all your servants. Please give us protection. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
The Devatas are saying, previously, at the end of the Kalpa, having placed in your abdomen the universe, you created and maintained you, the path of knowledge, the object of meditation for the perfect sages in their hearts. Lay down in the water upon the king of snakes, Ananta. You protect us, your servants who see you. So the Devatas are saying that, my dear Lord, at the end of the day of Brahma, the 14 lokas are destroyed. The 14 lokas and all the living entities in the 14 lokas, they all enter into your abdomen and take rest within the waters of Garbhodaka ocean, where you are lying. And then, in the next day, you again restart the entire creation and you maintain. At the end of the day, you create at the beginning of the day, you maintain throughout the day. At the end of the day, you again destroy. This thing you are doing day after day, painstakingly. Please protect us. Just like you are protecting the entire universe day after day of Brahma, please protect us. Though our tenure may be very small, but whatever it is, you are our master and protector. Please protect us. Like that, Devatas are requesting. You placed in our domain what you created and transformed. Basically, the entire universe consisting of 14 lokas which you created and which you maintained. And after the annihilation, you keep it in with your abdomen. You are the path of knowledge upon whom the perfect beings meditate. You protect your servants. You are seen by us. And it is you create, who maintain, who destroy. Everything you are doing, that Lord is seen by us today in front of our eyes. Please protect us. Just like you are protecting the entire universe, please protect us. These two statements indicate that you are seen by your servants whom you protect. You are not known by them and not by others. This verse is directed to the sacrificers and jnanis. That means only the devotees know about you, who are non-devotees does not know about you properly. Like that, the devatas looking at the jnanis who are there in the assembly, karmis who are performing the sacrifice. So looking at the karmis and jnanis, the devatas who are devotees of the Lord, they are saying this. So like that. Next, Gandharvas are offering their prayers. Amshamshaste deva marichi adayete.
Ampham fafte dev marichayadayete.
Brahmendraya devagana rudra purogaha.
Brahmondra devagana ruta purogaha.
Krida bandam vishwamidam yasya vibhuman.
Krida bhandam vishwa idam yasya vibhuman.
Tasmai nityam nata namaste karavama.
Tasmai nityam nata namaste karvama. The Gandharva said, Dear Lord, all the demigods, including Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Indra, and Marichi, and the great sages, are all only differentiated part and powerful of your body. You are the supreme Almighty, great. The whole creation is just like a plaything for you. You always accept you as supreme personality of Godhead, and we offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
No, sorry, Prabhu. So here, the Gandharvas are saying, O Lord, O most powerful person, Marichi, Brahma, different devatas, having Lord Shiva at their head, who are portions of the portions of you only, Amsha Amshaha, for whom this universe is a part used in playing. Therefore, we always offer respects to you. The Gandharvas are saying that, Oh my Lord, all these great sages who are known as Rishis and Prajapatis, all the Devatas and their leaders, Brahma and Shiva, they are none other than your Amshas and Amshas. And all of them are living in this pot-like universe and performing various activities. They use this universe as a plaything for them, but actually it is your plaything. Therefore, we offer respects to you. So like that they are saying. Let us offer respects to you. We entering the assembly praise Daksha, the Supreme Lord, but actually we praise you alone, since all others are portions of your portions. They think that they are the Lord, but they are not. This is directed to Brahma and others. So, though they are your Amshas, but in their own respective places, they think that they are the ultimate lords. Just like Daksha, who kind of behaved like the Supreme, he can dictate everything as per his desires. But actually, they do not understand that they are either your direct Amshas or Amsha of the Amshas. And they think that this world is meant for their play. But actually, this entire world is meant for your play, which they do not understand. So like that, the Gandharvas, who constantly sing the glories of each and everyone, previously when the Yajna was going on, he might have been glorifying Daksha. Daksha is performing the Yajna, so this, that. But actually, our intention was to glorify you. We are existing to glorify you only. So that's what they are expressing. Then, Vidyadharas are saying, Tvanmayayartam apipadya kalevaresmin. Krishna, someone repeat.
तन्मायार्थम् अभिपाद्यके कलेवरेऽस्मिन्
Krutva mamahamiti durmatirutpatai swai swai.
कृत्वा ममाहम् इति उत्पातैस्वैः
क्षिप्तोऽपि असद्विषयलालस आत्ममोहम्
क्षिप्तोऽपि असद्विषयलालस आत्ममोहम्
युष्मस्कथामृतनिषेवक उद्युदस्येत्
युष्मत्कथामृतनिसेवक उद्यवादस्येत्. Translation. The Vidyadhara said, Dear Lord, this human form of body is meant for attaining the highest perfectional objective, but impelled by your external energy, the living entity misidentifies himself with his body and with the material energy, and therefore influenced by Maya. He wants to become happy by material enjoyment. He is misled and always attracted by temporary illusory happiness. But your transcendental activities are so powerful that if one engages in the hearing and chanting of such topics, he can be delivered from illusion. Hare Krishna.
So now the Vidyadharas are saying, they say that after attaining a body and identifying in that body with me and mine, Kritva mama aham iti, due to your Mahamaya, okay, and the ignorant person, bewildered by family and desiring temporary objects, rejecting illusion concerning himself, rejects illusion concerning himself by hearing your topic. Yushmat katamruta nishevaka vyudyudaset atmamoham. Normally, every living entity having entered into this material world forgets one's own real entity. Ishwar Jivera Swarupai Krishna, that is forgotten. Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jivabhuta Sanatana Jivera Swarupa Hoya Krishnera Nityadas. That understanding has been forgotten as soon as the Jiva enters into the material world. Then when Jiva gets a new material body, that's all. He begins a new world of existence only. I'm a human being, I'm this, I'm that, I'm engineer, I'm doctor, this, that. And then there is wife, children, home, vehicles, bank balance, properties. All these things will come. Friends, relatives, company, influence, all these things will come. That's how one is bound in this material world as Mama Aham, me and mine. This is me and all these are mine. Thus, one is put into Moha. But when one starts hearing the glories of Supreme Lord, when one starts hearing about the Supreme Lord, one comes out of the Moha. By hearing your topics, Yusmat Katamruta Nishevaka, by hearing your topics and also by serving you, a person can come out of Atma Moham. So, Vidyadharas are one kind of devotees actually. Yesterday Saturday and last Saturday also we were discussing from 7th canto. When Lord Narasimhadev appeared, the different personalities are offering prayers like this only in order to console Lord Narasimhadev. In that Vidyadharas also offer a prayer that they offer prayer on the level of pure devotional service. My dear Lord, we were all your pure devotees. We are supposed to serve you, but out of fear of Hiranyakashipu, we could not serve you. We could not sing your glories all the while. Now, by the death of this Hiranyakashipu, we will be able to serve you. So like that. And they also say that out of fear of this Hiranyakashipu, who the living entities who are supposed to serve you, they have forgotten their service to you. So something like that. So they talk on the level of pure devotional service. So here also we can see that how a Baddha Jiva can become freed from this material existence is by hearing and worshipping the Supreme Lord. So like that. Attaining sense objects and identifying with me and mine, the ignorant person bewildered by his sense, desiring temporary objects, can completely reject illusions about himself by serving the nectar of your topics. This is directed to the dry jnanis. The dry jnanis always analyze the Shastra. Oh, the supreme absolute truth is not earth, not water, not fire, not ether, not air, not jnanendriyas, not karmendriyas, not tanmatras, not antakaranas, not this, neti, 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 naiti, naiti, naiti. Like that, they analyze the material world and finally they come to the conclusion that the absolute truth is impersonal Brahman. Nirguna, Nirakari, Nirvishesha, Anirvachaniya. We cannot describe it. Like that, they come up. So that is the end conclusion of the hard work, a hard labor of Jnanis. So here Vidyadhara are saying that, see, this is what they end up. If they hear Krishna Katha, the very first day they can come to you, the actual conclusion, who is the Supreme Lord, who is the Supreme Absolute Truth. In spite of working throughout the life, analyzing, the end conclusion is, the Absolute Truth is Nirakara, Nirguna, Nirvishesha, Nishkriya, Niranjana, and Anirvachaniya. Like that, various attributes they give to Brahman. So that's what they end up. They say that if they hear Krishna Katha very first day only, they can understand absolute truth. Why do they spend whole life to come to an impersonal conclusion? Like that, they are looking at Jnanis, they are telling how to get rid of this material bondage is just surrender to Krishna Katha and Krishna Seva. So like that. Hare Krishna, all the devotees are able to follow what we are discussing. There are so many more prayers are also there.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Next, the Brahmanas are offering prayers. The Brahmanas who are assembled there, who are invited for the Yajna by Daksha and all, they are all together offering the next prayer. Tam kratustam avistamuta swayam hutasha swayam
तं क्रतुस्त्वं हविस्त्वं हुताशः स्वयं
tvam hi mantra samidharba patrani cha
त्वं हि मन्त्रा समिदर्भ पात्राणि च
tvam sadasya rutvijo dampati devata
त्वं सदा स्यार्विजो दम्पती देवता
agnihotram swada soma ajyam pashuhu.
अग्निहोत्रं स्वदा सोमा आज्यं पशुः. Translation. The Brahmana said, Dear Lord, you are sacrifice personified. You are the offering of clarified butter. You are the fire. You are the chanting of Vedic hymns by which the sacrifice is conducted. You are the fuel. You are the flame. You are the kusha grass. And you are the sacrificial pots. You are the priests who perform the yajna. You are the demigods headed by Indra. And you are the sacrificial animal. Everything that is sacrificed is you or your energy.
So the Brahmanas are very much familiar with how to execute yajna. So whatever is being used in yajna, they see them as the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, they see the Supreme Lord as different objects that are used in yajna. So like that, they are saying it. Even in Bhagavad Gita also, Lord Krishna says, Aham kratur, aham yajna, swadaham, aham aushadam, mantroham, aham evaja. So like that, even Lord Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita that every article and every object in the yajna. Same thing here also they are saying that you are the sacrifice, Tvam Kratu. You are the oblations, Tvam Havis. You are the fire, Hutasha, Tvam Hutasha. And you are the mantras, Tvam Hi Mantra. You are the vessels, fuel and kusha grass, Samid, Darba and Patranicha. You are Patra, you are Samid, Samitpani, and your darba grass. And then you are the assembly. Tvam Sadasya, all the people who are assembled, Brahmanas, that is you only. Tvam Rutvijo, you are the priest who are performing the yajna. And Dampati Devata, you are the sponsor and his wife. Okay. Dampati means the Yajaman, the wife, both wife and husband are considered to be Yajaman. So you are the sponsorer and his wife. And you are the Devatas who are offered all the oblations. And you are Agnihotram, the offering to Agni. And Swada, the mantra Swada, and you are the Soma that will be extracted from the performance of Yajna, Somarasa, and you are Ajyam, the ghee that is offered in the Yajna time and again, and you are the Pashu. Even in fact, you are the sacrificial animal that is offered in the Yajna. In some of the Yajnas, the animal is also offered. That animal is also you. That means they are seeing the Supreme Lord as the different articles and different objects and different things and different people that are taking part in the Yajna. So that's how the Brahmanas see the Supreme Lord. For the Brahmanas, the Lord is Yajna. Because their entire life is dedicated to execute Yajna after Yajna as part of Karma Yoga. Because Brahmanas generally execute Varnashna Dharma, Karma Yoga. Part of Karma Yoga, their main sadhana is performance of Yajna. Just like we devotees, our main sadhana is chanting and hearing. Like that, for Karma Yogis, the principal sadhana is performance of Yajna, one after the other. For them, the Supreme Lord is Yajna. Yajna Tantave. So like that. So for them, everything in the Yajna is Supreme Lord. So like that. For us, Abhinnatvam Namanamine. The name and the Lord are non-different from each other. So that's why we always say that when we chant, the Lord is dancing on our tongue. The Lord is personally present, we say. Same way that the Brahmanas who are performing Yajna, they see that when they are doing Yajna, for them the Yajna itself is the Supreme Lord. So that's how they treat. So like that, they are saying everything in the Yajna is you only. And they further continue. It is not complete. They speak two more verses because Yajna is very big thing. So two more verses they say. Tvam puragam rasaya mahashukaro.
Tvam puragam rashaya sukaro.
Damstraya padminim varanendro yata.
Damstraya padminim varanendro yata.
Stuyamano nadallilaya yogibir.
Stuyamano nadal lilaya yogibir.
Yujjaharta traigatra yajnakratuhu.
Yajjaharta trayi gatra yajnakratuhu. Translation. Dear Lord, O personified Vedic knowledge, in the past millennium, long, long ago, when you appeared as the great boar incarnation, you picked up the world from the water as an elephant picks up a lotus flower from a lake. When you vibrated transcendental sound in the gigantic form of a boar, the sound was accepted as a sacrificial hymn, and great sages like Shanaka meditated upon it and offered prayers for your glorification.
Among all the avatars of the Supreme Lord, Lord Varaha is considered to be directly the Yajna personified. Even in third canto also, there are so many prayers addressed to Supreme Lord as Yajna Purusha. Same thing the Brahmanas are saying here. Oh, personified Vedic knowledge, Trayi Gatra. Having the form of a sacrifice, Yajna Kratu, Yajna Murti. In the past, in the form of the great boar, Mahashukaro, Mahavaraha, praised by the great sages of Maharloka, Janloka, Tapaloka, you easily lifted up the entire Bhumandala from the waters with your tusk. From the waters of Garbhodaka ocean, you lifted the entire Bhumandala while the sages of Maharloka, Janloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka offering wonderful prayers. Just like an elephant lifts a lotus while you roar. So it was not a painful task. It was very simple and easy and happy task, just like for an elephant, just lifting a lotus flower, how simple it is. For you, lifting the Bhumandala, that's simple. And while doing that, you loudly roared and you also shook your body. When you shook your body, the transcendental water from your transcendental body fell upon all the sages, and all the sages felt that they are completely purified by the touch of the water sprinkled from your transcendental form. So this all is explained in the third canto, 13th chapter. So that they are in briefly expressing that entire past time. Trayi Gatra means, oh form of the Vedas. This explains the Lord as the form of Yajna. Because the Vedas talk about Yajna, and that Yajna is non-different from the Supreme Lord. And Lord Varaha is considered to be Yajna Murti. So like that. And this is the last prayer offered by the Brahmanas. Saprasidatvam Saprasidatvamasmakam Akankshatam
सप्रसीद त्वम् अस्माकम् आकाङ्क्षताम्
Darshanam te paribrashta satkara karmanam
दर्शनं ते परिभ्रष्टा सत्कर्मणाम्
Kirtyamane nribirnamni yajneshate
क्रियमाणे निर्भिर्नाम्नि यज्ञेष्यते
Yajna vignakshayam yanti tasmai namaha.
यज्ञविघ्नाक्षयं यान्ति तस्मै नमः. Translation: Dear Lord, were awaiting your sacrifice because we have been unable to perform the yajnas according to the Vedic rituals. We pray unto you, therefore, to be pleased with us. Simply by chanting your holy name, one can surpass all obstacles. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you in your presence.
May you, who is non-different from Lord Varaha, be pleased with us. So they are telling that for us the Lord is Yajna and the Yajna Murti is Lord Varaha, and that Varaha is none other than you only. Because now the Lord is standing in front of them in 400 form, and they are saying that our object of worship is Yajna. That Yajna is non-different from Lord Varaha, and Lord Varaha is non-different from you. That means our object of worship Yajna is non-different from you. It is you yourself. So may you be pleased with us, who are eager to see you, though we have interrupted the sacrifice. Though we are supposed to perform the sacrifice because of Daksha and Nandi and Shiva, all these episodes and all, sacrifice was interrupted. Veerabhadra came and disrupted the sacrifice. We could not continue the sacrifice. But now you have come again. O Lord of the sacrifice, when people chant your name, the obstacles to sacrifice disappear. We offer respects to you. Whatever obstacles that happened in the sacrifice, they all will disappear by chanting your holy names. So therefore, since now you are personally present, by your auspicious presence, the sacrifice will happily will complete. So we offer our respectable obeisances unto you. If chanting your name destroys obstacles, then how much more will your very presence destroy obstacles? The obstacles to the sacrifice were the followers of Lord Shiva. This statement is directed towards the followers of Lord Shiva. The Veerabhadra and other followers, they destroy the sacrifice. It is because of them we could not worship you, but now you personally came. Thank you for that. Please enable us to complete the sacrifice, complete our worship. Like that, they are praying to Lord Vishnu, who appeared in the midst of them. So like this, the various personalities are offering their respective prayers. When the various speakers put blame on various persons, it indicates that there is no fault in the devotees of the Lord, since their position is generally made superior. Here, the different people are stating that, okay, because of this happened like that. But no one blamed any devotee in this. Of course, in one sense, they are all devotees. No one blamed anybody saying that, see, your devotees caused this. Not like that. They said, okay, Devatas, Gandharvas, Yakshas, Kinnaras, Kimpurushas, this, that, this was followers, that, this. But no one is addressed as a devotee of the Lord, and because he is a devotee of you, he made the mistake. Not like that. Is Shiva, is this, is that, like that, made mistake happened. So their individual identity is taken. So indicating that the devotees will not take anything seriously, and for them the service is important than personal credit. That is what understood. So like that, the prayers offered by different personalities is completed. Now Maitreya Muni will continue the story. What happened next, how the sacrifice completed, how everyone is happy, etc. etc. Will be the rest of the chapter. So before going further, any questions from any devotees? Hare Krishna.
No, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Other devotees?
Yes, Prabhuji, we are able to follow.
So now, Maitreya Uvacha.
Maitreya Uvacha.
Iti Daksha Kaviryajnam.
Iti Dakshaha Kaviryajnam.
Bhadra Rudra Bimarshitam.
Bhadra Rudra Bhimarshitam.
Kirtyamane Rishikeshe.
Kityamane Rishikeshe.
Tanninye Yajna Bhavane.
Sanninye Yajnabhavane. Sri Maitreya said, after Lord Vishnu was glorified by all present, Daksha, his consciousness purified, arranged to begin again the yajna which had been devastated by the followers of the Lord Shiva.
So now Maitreya is speaking to Vidura. Oh Vidura, after Lord Vishnu, the well-wisher of the sacrifice, was glorified, the wise Daksha restored the sacrifice which was spoiled by Veerabhadra. So now the sacrifice, because at the beginning of the sacrifice, as a purificatory process, they offered Purodasa oblations. Then Lord Vishnu appeared. Then everyone received Lord Vishnu and reported what all happened and why it happened, etc. etc. Now everything is over. Now Daksha continues the sacrifice. Bhagavan Svena Bhagena.
Bhagavan Svena Bhagena.
Sarvatma Sarva Bhagabhuk.
Sarvatma Sarva Bhagabhuk.
Daksham Babhasa Abhasya.
Daksham Babhasha Abhashya.
Priyamana Ivanaga.
Priyamana Ivanagha. Maitreya continued. My dear sinless Vidura, Lord Shiva is actually the enjoyer of the results of all sacrifices. Yet because of his being the supersoul of all living entities, he was satisfied simply with his share of sacrificial offerings. He therefore addressed Daksha in a pleasing attitude.
O sinless Vidura, the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan, the soul of all living entities, Sarva Atma, the enjoyer of the sacrifice, Sarva Bhagabhuk, pleased with his share of sacrifice, addressing Daksha, spoke. Because Lord came, Lord was received by everyone, now Lord responding. As Bhagavan, the Lord is complete in his bliss and does not need anything. And the soul of all beings is the enjoyer of all the portions of the sacrifice. However, he appeared pleased with his own particular share of the sacrifice. Actually, he was not pleased because of the offense of Lord Shiva, offense to Lord Shiva. O sinless Vidura, you are without offenses. Therefore, the Lord is pleased with you. You indeed are the example of a proper person. So basically, the Lord is, it is said in the shloka that, as he pleased by Daksha's performance of yajna, the Lord responded to Daksha. But actually, out of courtesy, Lord is expressing his pleasure. But in reality, he was not completely pleased with Daksha because Daksha had offended Lord Shiva by cursing Lord Shiva and by causing all this trouble, by causing the death of Sati also. But what can be done for the restoration of the universal sacrifice? So yeah, he kind of accepted his own share of sacrifice when it is offered to him, and he also expressing his pleasure to Daksha because things should go on in the universe. Because he's the maintainer of the universe, he should make sure that things are maintained properly in spite of the people doing mistakes. So like that. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Aham Brahmacha Sharvascha
Aham Brahma cha Sarvascha
Jagata Karanam Param
Jagata Karanam Param
Atmeshwara Upadrishta
Atmeshwara Ubadrishta
Swayandruk Avisheshana.
Vayandrig Avisheshanaha. Lord Vishnu replied, Brahma, Lord Shiva, and I are the supreme cause of the material manifestation. I am the super soul, the self-sufficient witness. But impersonally, there is no difference between Brahma, Lord Shiva, and me.
Yeah, Lord Vishnu is saying that I am the supreme cause of the universe. Aham Jagata Param Karanam. I am also Atmeshwara, the Lord of the soul, the Paramatma, the master of all each and every living entities. I am also the Upadrishta, the witness, and Swayam Druk, I am self-revealing. So first Lord talks about his own attributes. What is that? Gatir Bharta, Prabhu Sakshi, Swadaham, so like that. Various aspects as Paramatma, they are all mentioned. I am the cause of the universe, Sarvakarana Karanam, Jagataha Paramakaranam. I am the Lord of all the souls. I am Atmeshwara, I am Paramatma. I am the witness of all the living entities, Upadrishta. I am self-revealing, Swayamdruk. Now he says, I, Brahma and Shiva are non-different from each other. First he talks about himself. Then he says that Brahma and Shiva are non-different from him. Means they are also qualified with all these attributes. Like that. That means whatever respects all of you are showing to me, all of you should give the same respect to Brahma and Shiva. Especially Lord Vishnu is telling to Daksha, saying that, my dear Daksha, you have been talked so much about Lord Shiva, is this, is that, so many things. But actually, Lord Shiva is indeed non-different from me. Even Lord Brahma is also non-different from me. Whatever respect you show to me, you should show the same respect to Lord Brahma as well as Lord Shiva. So it is for Daksha. Do not again commit such offense. The Lord gives instructions to Daksha. Swayandrik means self-revealing. There is no difference between the three of us. This is the instruction. So, whatever respect all of you and especially you show to me, you should show the same respect to Brahma and Shiva. Kindly understand this. So, not only for Daksha, for all of us, Lord is giving this instruction. Then he further says, Atmamayam samavishya
Atmamayam samavishya
soham gunamayim dvija
soham gunamayim dvija
srujan rakshan haran vishwam
srijan rakshan haran vishvam
dadre samnyan kriyochitam.
dadre samnyam kriyochitam. Translation. The Lord continued, My dear Daksha Dvija, I am the original personality of Godhead. But in order to create, maintain, and annihilate this cosmic manifestation, I act through my material energy. And according to the different grades of activity, my representations are differently named.
So when Lord was saying that we three are same, so then somebody might have said that, oh my dear Lord, how can you be three are same? So Brahma is creator, Vishnu is maintainer, and Shiva is destroyer. That is what we know. You three are different people and you do different things according to three gunas. Then Lord Vishnu responds, situated in my own Yoga Maya, Atma Maya, composed of the three gunas. Okay, I create, maintain, and destroy the universe by taking different names. For creation, I take the name as Brahma. For maintenance, I take the name as Vishnu. For destruction, I take the name as Shiva. It is I who appear as Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva to maintain, to create, maintain, and destroy the universe. So don't see any difference among three of us. It is I only in three forms. But the Supreme Lord is only one person according to scriptures, and that is you. How can you say that Brahma and Shiva are you? That person who is situated in the material world but is famous for being beyond the gunas is I alone. According to the activity of creation, maintenance, and destruction, I take the names of the creator, maintainer, and destroyer. Creator is Brahma, maintainer is Vishnu, destroyer is Shiva. Yes, the Supreme Lord is one who is situated beyond the influence of three modes, beyond the purview of the material existence. But the same Lord enters into this universe for the purpose of creation, maintenance, and destruction, takes three forms: Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Understand that all three are me only. So, like that. So they basically, we should not see differences among these three personalities are equally worshipable. Of course, the Lord is Lord and other two are Lord's devotees, but still, from the basis of the universe, from the basis of different responsibilities that they take for the universe to go on smoothly, they are all performing the service of the Supreme Lord. Thus, they are non-different from the Supreme Lord. Just like every day in the morning, Guru Ashtakam, we say, Sakshat Aritvena Samasta Shastre, Ukta Tata Bhavyateva Evas. And then we say that Yasya Prasadat Bhagavat Prasado, Yasya Prasadat Bhagavan Nagati Kutopi. So basically, a guru should be seen as non-different from Supreme Lord. Sakshat Haritvena. He is Sakshat Hari himself. Because Lord Hari's one name is Mukunda. Mukti Dadati iti Mukunda. The one who gives liberation is called Mukunda. On behalf of the Supreme Lord, it is the Guru who liberates the disciple. It is the Guru who takes the responsibility of liberating the conditioned souls. He is doing the service of the Supreme Lord, on par with the Supreme Lord. Similarly, for the universal management, Brahma and Shiva does the universal activities on behalf of the Supreme Lord. Thus, they should be respected on par with the Supreme Lord. Like that, we can understand. So, now, Lord Vishnu further continues. Tasmin Brahmani Advitiye
तस्मिन् ब्रह्मणि अद्वितीये
Kevale Paramatmani
केवले परमात्मनि
Brahma Rudrau cha Bhutani
ब्रह्मरुद्रौ च भूतानि
Vede Nagyonu Pashyati.
वेदेनाज्ञो अनुपश्यति. Translation. The Lord continued, one who is not in proper knowledge thinks that demigods like Brahma and Shiva are independent, or he even thinks that the living entities are independent.
Yeah, now Lord Vishnu is further saying, the ignorant people see differences between Jivas and me, who are non-dual, Advitiye. So Lord goes one step further that even the living entities are my own Amshas. Just like Brahma and Shiva who are non-different from me, similarly all the living entities are also qualitatively non-different from me. But who is that me? Who is known as Absolute Brahman, who is known as Paramatma, and who is known as Bhagavan. What to speak of seeing difference between Brahma, Shiva, and me? So in one sense, Lord says that one should offer the same respect to each and every living entity, as every living entity is an Amsha of the Supreme Lord. Everyone should be respected. So like that. If every living entity is supposed to be respected, then what to speak of respecting Brahma and Shiva, who are much superior? So question is, but how are Brahma, who is a Jiva taking the form of Hiranyagarbha, and Lord Shiva, who is touched by the gunas, even though being Ishvara, non-different from you? And this is explained through Kaumatika Nyaya. How can you say that Brahma and Shiva are equal to you? Then Lord says that the ignorant people see the differences even between the Jivas and me. What to speak of seeing differences between Brahma, Shiva, and me? But the wise person does not see. The Jivas are non-different from me because they are my Tatastha Shakti. And Shakti is non-different from the Shaktiman. Therefore, Brahma and Shiva are non-different from me because they are my Gunavataras. They are not even Vairanga Tatastha Shakti. They are not even an amsha, vibhinna amsha. This Brahma and Shiva are actually my gunavataras. Because they are gunavataras, they are as good as me only. So how can you see them different from me and offer less respect? They should be offered same respect as you offer to me. So like that. So now Lord further speaks. Yata pumanna swangeshu
यथा पुमानस्वाङ्गेषु
shirapani kvatit
शिरापाण्यादिषु क्वचित्
parakya buddhim kurute
आरक्य बुद्धिं कुरुते
evam bhuteshu matparaha.
एवं भूतेषु मत्परः. A person with average intelligence does not think the head and other parts of the body to be separate. Similarly, my devotee does not differentiate Vishnu, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, from anything or any living entity.
My devotee does not see difference between himself and all living entities. Just as a person does not differentiate between himself and his various limbs, such as head and hand. So when we say that this is my hand, this is my head, this is my hand, this is my stomach, this is my mouth, like that, a devotee will always see all the living entities are other devotees who are humble servants of the Supreme Lord. So a devotee respects all the living entities. Then what to speak of respecting Brahma and Shiva? So like that. The devotee sees himself as non-different from all beings. The devotee seeing non-difference is taking others' happiness and distress as his own. The devotee is, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, that paradukha dukhi, parasukha sukhi. So devotee finds happiness of others his own as his own happiness, distress of others as his own distress. That means he sees others as non-different from himself. That's how we have to understand. So that is the thing. Then Lord Vishnu further says, Tatranam Trayanam Eka Bhavanam
त्रयाणाम् एकभावानां
Yona Pashyati Vaibhidam
यो न पश्यति वैभिदाम्
Sarvabhutatmanam Brahman
सर्वभूतात्मनां ब्रह्मन्
Sashantim Adhigachyati.
स शान्तिम् अधिगच्छति. The Lord continued, one who does not consider Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, or other living entities in general to be separate from the Supreme, and who knows Brahman actually realizes peace, others do not.
So Lord says, Oh Daksha, the person who does not see difference between the three of us, the soul of all beings who have one nature, attains peace. A person who sees and respects all three of us equally definitely will attain perfection. That means one starts seeing the Lord's presence in everything, then such a person will definitely go to Supreme Lord. Yo pashyati mam sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati. So in that way, one who is able to see the presence of Supreme Lord everywhere definitely will go back to Godhead. Obviously. Stavara Jangama Deki Na Deki Taramurti Sarvatra Prasara Hoibe Ishta Deva Spurti. This is the final consciousness of a Uttamadhikari. When one comes to this consciousness, definitely he is on the way back to Godhead. Same way here, Lord Vishnu is telling that one who sees three of us equally, then respects all the living entities as my amshas, that person definitely goes back to Godhead. The result of seeing non-difference is stated in this verse. So thus, the Lord stopped speaking. Then Maitreya says, how, realizing all these things, Daksha completed the sacrifice. Maitreya Uvacha
मैत्रेय उवाच
Evam Bhagavatadishtaha
एवं भगवतादिष्टः
Prajapati Patirhavi Harim
प्रजापतिपतिर्हरिम्
Architva Kratuna Smena
अर्चित्वा क्रतुना स्वेन
Devanubayato Yajat.
Devan Ubayato Yajat. The sage Maitreya said, thus Daksha, the head of all Prajapatis, having been nicely instructed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, worshipped Lord Vishnu. After worshipping him by performing the prescribed sacrificial ceremonies, Daksha separately worshipped Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva.
So hearing what Lord Vishnu said, that three of us are non-different from each other, you should show same respect to both of them as you show to me. Then Daksha followed. Being instructed by the Supreme Lord, Daksha, after worshipping Lord Vishnu through a specific sacrifice, then he worshipped the Devatas headed by Brahma and Shiva by main and subsidiary sacrifices. So like that. Prajapati Pati is Daksha. Ubhayata means by secondary and primary sacrifices. He worshipped others. So it is indicated. Rudram cha svena bhagena.
Rudram chasvena bhagena
He upadhava samahitaha.
Yubhatavat samahitah
Karmano davasanena.
Karmano davasanena
Somapan nitaranapi.
Somapan itaran api
Udavasya saha rutvigbi.
Udavasya sakarutvikbhi
Sasnav avabrutam tataha.
Sasnav abhavritam tataha. Translation. With all respect, Daksha worshipped Lord Shiva with his share of the remnants of the yajna. After finishing the ritualistic sacrificial activities, he satisfied all the other demigods and the other people assembled there. Then, after finishing all these duties with the priests, he took a bath and was fully satisfied.
With concentrated mind, Daksha worshipped Lord Shiva with his share. So a special sacrifice was performed for pleasing Lord Shiva also. Worshipping other devatas by concluding rites, he then bathed along with the priests. The final thing is Avabrata Snana. He did it along with all the Ritvijas, along with the priests who are performing the yajna. Udavasanam means that which completes. Avasanam, the last part of the sacrifice. After finishing with these concluding rites, Daksha and all the Ritvijas took bath. Thus the sacrifice come to conclusion. Tasma api anubhavyena.
Tasma api anubhavena
Svenaivaaptaradase.
Svenaivaapta radase
Dharma eva matim datva.
Dharma eva matim datva
Tridashaste divam yayu.
Hridashaste divam yayoho. Thus, worshipping the Supreme Lord Vishnu by the ritualistic performance of sacrifice, Daksha was completely situated on the religious path. Moreover, all the demigods who had assembled at the sacrifice blessed him that he might increase his piety, and then they left.
After giving Daksha intelligence to act according to Dharma, after he had already attained perfection by worshipping the Lord, Supreme Lord Vishnu, the Devatas departed for heaven. So Lord Vishnu, Brahma, Shiva and all the assembled Devatas, Gandharvas, Kinnaras, Kimpurushas, everyone, they kind of departed for their respective places. The Devatas gave blessings to Daksha, who had attained perfection. They kind of expressed their gratitude to Daksha. Thank you very much for inviting us. Bye bye, we are going. So like that, they all went back to their respective places. Then, evam dakshaya nihitva.
Evam
Evam dakshaya nihitva. Mataji,
Sati
continue.
purva kalevaram.
Sati purva kalevaram
Jajne himavata kshetre.
Jajne himavata kshetre
Menayamiti shushruma.
Menayam iti Shushruma. Maitreya said, I have heard that after giving up the body she had received from Daksha, Dakshayani, his daughter, took her birth in the kingdom of the Himalayas. She was born as the daughter of Mena. I heard this from authoritative sources.
Then Maitreya says, Oh Vidura, I have heard that the daughter of Daksha, Dakshayani Sati, on giving up her body in that sacrifice, burning herself, later on born in the womb of Menaka, the wife of Himalaya. So she appeared as the daughter of Menaka, Himalaya, and later on, by the request of all the devatas, she worshipped Lord Shiva, and she again became the wife of Lord Shiva. Now she is known as Parvati. In her previous life, she was known as Sati, but in this life, she is known as the daughter of Himalaya and Menaka, she is known as Parvati. Parvati because she is the daughter of Parvata, Himalaya Parvata. So like that, she is called as Parvati. Tameva daitam bhuya
Tameva daitam bhuya
avrunte patimambika
avrungte patimam ambika
ananya bhavaika gatim
ananya bhavaika gatim
shakti supteva purusham.
shaktihi sutteva purusham. Ambika, goddess Durga, who was known as Dakshayani Sati, again accepted Lord Shiva as her husband, just as different energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead act during the course of a new creation.
Yeah. Mother Sati, who had attachment to no one else, again chose Lord Shiva as her one goal and as her beloved husband. She was like the sleeping energy at the time of universal dissolution, who then takes shelter of the Supreme Lord. So basically, now again, in spite of appearing as the daughter of Himalaya and Menaka, she remembered her previous life and the position of the wife of Lord Shiva only. Hare Krishna, devotees who are not reciting, please mute. Avrinte means chose. She had love for no one else. Lord Shiva was her only goal, Ekagatim. At the time of devastation, the sleeping Maya Shakti takes shelter of the Supreme Lord, who is awake, and then she becomes revived. That means Maya Devi, at the end of the universal creation, enters into the transcendental form of Karnadakshaya Vishnu. And the next creation, next day, when Mahavishnu breathes out, then Maya Devi comes out of the skin pores of Mahavishnu. And then Mahavishnu, looking upon Maya Devi, impregnates her with all the different variety of living entities. Then the creation begins. It's like that. At the end of the dissolution, how she takes the shelter of Mahavishnu during the creation, while the creation is being maintained, she takes the shelter of Lord Shiva, who is her Lord and Master. So like that. Then Etad Bhagavata Shambho
एतद् भगवता शम्भो
Karma Dakshadvara Dhruva
कर्मदक्षातरा ध्रुवा
Shrutam Bhagavata Chisyad
श्रुतं भागवतास्तिश्च
Uddhavan Me Bruhaspate.
तमं ते बृहस्पते. Translation. Maharaj said, My dear Vidura, I heard the story of Daksha Yagna, which has devastated by Lord Shiva from Uddhava, a great devotee and a disciple of Brihaspati. Hare Krishna.
So Maitreya is saying that, oh Vidura, I heard the story of Lord Shiva, destroyer of the Daksha sacrifice, from the devotee Uddhava, a disciple of Brihaspati. This entire pastime was narrated by Uddhava to me, like that is telling. I heard it from Uddhava, the disciple of Brihaspati. So then, Falashruti, whoever hears this entire pastime of Daksha Yajna, what is the Falashruti? Idam pavitram paramisha chestitam.
Idam pavitram paramisha cheshtitam.
Yashasya mayushyamagaugamarsanam.
Yashashyam ayushyam agauga marshanam.
Yo nityadakarnya. Yo nityadakarnya naro nukirtayed.
Yo nityadakarnya naro nukriti kriryate tayet.
Dunotyagam kaurava bhakti bhavata.
Sunoti agam kaurava bhakti bhavataha. The great sage Maitreya concluded, if one hears, again narrates with faith and devotion this story of the Daksha Yajna as it was conducted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, then certainly one is cleared of all contamination of material existence, O son of Kuru.
Oh Vidura, the person who, after constantly hearing Lord Vishnu's and Lord Shiva's pure activities, which give fame and long life, and destroys piles of sin, narrate the story with devotion, destroys all his sin. So basically, one who constantly hears the wonderful activities of Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva in through this Daksha Yajna episode, they award one fame, long life, and destroys all the piles of sin. So and bhakti. All these things will manifest to a person who hears and recites this particular pastime of Daksha Yajna, wherein the wonderful activities of Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu are mentioned. So like this, so the chapters 7 is completed. The first part of the fourth canto, the Daksha Yajna episode is completed. And then we will begin the second part, which is the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj. So any questions till now based on what we discussed? The last part of the chapter. Okay. If there are no questions from any devotees, we will move on, beginning with the 8th chapter. So I've been spending a lot of time discussing this Daksha Yajna. And like that, even the next section also, even this entire fourth canto is very big actually. If you see the out of 18 volumes, 2 big volumes are for fourth canto. It will take like good amount of time. Actually, it is very important, as we told in the beginning in the introduction class. Fourth canto talks about when a devotee takes on to the bhakti, what are the different obstacles can come in the life of a sadhaka. So till now, through the pastime of our Daksha episode, we have seen some of the obstacles by the personal life stories of Daksha and Sati. What was the problem with Daksha? What was the problem with Sati? If we also try to behave like them, and we also end up with such kind of situation. So one should be careful while practicing bhakti. In spite of having taken back the path of bhakti, one should be careful not to repeat the same mistakes which were done by previous personalities. The whole purpose of reading these sections of Bhagavatam is to safeguard ourselves not to do such kind of mistakes once again. So we should be reading them again and again so that we become vigilant of such kind of mistakes. That is the whole purpose. The whole fourth canto and fifth canto is all about to teach us what are the different things that can happen in our life. So how we have to safeguard ourselves. Now in the 8th chapter also, we will be hearing about the lineage of Adharma and also Suruchi and also Dhruva. But they also take on to some rash steps that also we should be careful and guarding ourselves. So like that we should understand. So let us see what is that. Now in the 8th chapter, we see how Dhruva goes to the forest. In the 8th chapter, Dhruva, burned by the burned by the poison of his stepmother's words, and inspired by the nectar of his mother's words, pleased the Lord by austerities in Madhuvan. So this is all quick summary of this chapter. So let us go ahead. Maitreya Uvacha
Maitreya Uvacha
Sanakadaya Naradascha
Sanakadaya Naradascha
Prubur Hamshoruniyata iti
Ruburhamsoruniryati
Naite Grahan Brahmasuta
Naite Grahan Brahmasuta
He Avasan Urdvaretasa.
He Avasan Urdva Pretasaha. The great sage Maitreya said, the four great Kumara sages, headed by Sanaka, as well as Narada, Rubu, Hamsa, Aruni, and Yati, all sons of Brahma, did not live at home but became Urdhvareta or Naishtika Brahmacharis, unadulterated celibates.
So, because in third canto there was all about Brahma's creation, the third canto concluded with the birth of Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa. Then Vidura asked, please speak about Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa and their children. So Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa had 5 children, 3 daughters and 2 sons. The 3 daughters, their marriages, their children are being narrated in the very first chapter of the 4th canto. And before beginning, the sons of Swayambhuva Manu, who are Priyavrata and Uttanapada, out of the 2, Priyavrata wanted to remain as a brahmachari, celibate monk in the ashram of Narada Muni. They went to Gurukula of Narada Muni, they were studying there. So one of them wanted to remain like that. So just like Priyavrata wanted to remain as a celibate monk and brahmachari like that, there are so many sons of Brahma also remained for their entire life as a celibate monks. So who are they? A quick summary is given. The 4 Kumaras headed by Sanaka, Narada, Rubu, Hamsa, Aruni, and Yati. All sons of Brahma did not get married but became Urdhareta or the Naishtika Brahmacharis. So these sons of Brahma remained Naishtika Brahmacharis. The 4 Kumaras, Narada Muni, Rubu, Hamsa, Aruni, Yati. Total 9 sons. Remaining sons of Brahma all married, but these people remained Naishtika Brahmacharis. Similarly, following in their footsteps, Priyavrata wanted to continue as a Naishtika Brahmachari and he remained in the Gurukul only. He did not come home. But Uttanapada came home. Then later on, now onwards, the Uttanapada's marriages and his rule and his children, their children, like that. The story goes ahead. The entire 4th canto talks about Uttanapada and his lineage. Because who returned from Gurukula and who got married and who became the king. So like that. For that reason, it is being said like this. The lineage from Manu's daughters were described, and the lineages from Brahma's sons, such as Marichi, were also mentioned in the process. Though Manu's sons should now be described, first the remaining sons of Brahma are described briefly. So other sons about whom the 3rd canto did not talk, a brief summary of them is described. Because these people are Urdharetsas, so there is nothing to talk about their marriage and children. So there is nothing to talk about them. So Maitreya does not talk anything more. So like that, just like there are unmarried sons of Brahma, the 9 sons here, and there are some married sons of Brahma, but that marriage is not so good. That marriage is not a acceptable marriage. So that also took place in the lineage of Brahma, in the sons of, among the sons of Brahma. So that is described in the next verse. Because this unacceptable illegal marriage and their descendants will cause unacceptable problems in the universe. So what are the different problems that can come in the life of a sadhaka if they go through an unacceptable path? All of them are given in summary in 2 verses. So what are the different things that we should be careful? We should stay away from. We should always remain awake, apramatta, not to get controlled by them. That is being described in these 2 shlokas. So let us see. What are the things that act as a big obstacles for the spiritual progress of a sadhaka? Murusha dharmasya bharyasid.
Vrisha dharmasya bharya shed.
Dhambam mayam cha shatruhan.
Dambam mayam cha shatrugan.
Asuta mitunam tattu.
Ashuta mitunam tattu.
Nirtir. Nirrutir jagruhe praja.
Niruttir jagrahe praja.
Tayo sambhavallobo.
Tayo sambhavallobo.
Nikritischa mahamati.
Nikritischa makamati.
Tabhyam krodascha himsa cha.
Sabhyam krodascha himsa cha.
Yaddurukti svashakalihi.
Yadurukti swashakalihi. Another son of Lord Brahma was irreligion, whose wife name was falsity. From their combination were born two demon names Damba and bluffing, and Maya or cheating. These two demons were taken by a demon named Nirti, who had no children.
Next verse, Mataji.
Oh, Maitreya told Vidura, O great soul, from Damba and Maya were born greed and Nikruti or cunning. From their combination came the children named Krodha, anger, and Himsa, envy. And from their combination were born Kali and his sister Durukti, harsh speech.
So, here the names of the people are indicated. And the name itself indicates a particular quality, the negative quality. That indicates that all these people are the presiding deities of those bad qualities. So what happens when we come in the company of some bad quality, how it leads further in a cycle of chakra, how it binds us more deeper. That is what we can understand. O killer of the enemy, Lord Brahma's son Adharma had a wife named Lying. She gave birth to twins called cheating and illusion. In one sense, Adharma and Mrusha, both of them are brother and sister. Still they got married. By their marriage, they gave birth to twins, one boy and one girl. Cheating and illusion. Okay. Dambam and Maya. Cheating and illusion. And Niruti, who had no children, accepted them as children. So in between, Niruti said, okay, I will take care of these two kids. But eventually they got married. The twins got married. So by their marriage, that when cheating married illusion, from cheating and illusion were born greed and deceit. They are again twins, boy and girl. Loba and Nikriti, greed and deceit. And they got married, brother and sister. And they gave birth to anger and violence, Krodha and Himsa. They were brother and sister and they got married. And from them they are born quarrel and profanity, Kali and Durukti. All these things took place. So like this, Adharma begins by speaking lies. We have to understand that the first quality of Adharma is speaking lies. In order to cover our mistake, we speak lies, and from there it starts one after the other things go on. So when there is a combination of adharmic activities and speaking lies, there appears cheating and illusion. Cheating is we want to cheat others, and illusion is we are put into illusion that. So we think that yeah, no problem. Everyone is doing like this. I am also doing like this. What is so wrong in me? I am not doing anything wrong. I am normal, quite normal. I am doing everything normal. So that's how we are put into illusion. And then when we start cheating others and putting ourselves in illusion, thinking that I'm doing great, I'm not doing any mistake, we are trying to justify our own wrong activities, then there appears greed and deceit. There We will get more and more greed. We want to have more and more material possessions, and we want to deceive others. We want to cheat others. We want to deceive others, by which we want to get more and more objects of sense gratification. And when there is greed and deceit, there comes anger and violence. When some people are trying to find fault with us, some people say that what you are doing is wrong, it's not correct. Immediately they become angry with us. Even in fact, they go to the extent of not only speaking verbal words, and they beat us also. The verbal to mental and physical, it goes all the way up to physical. And then when there is physical violence and verbal anger and all, there is quarrel among people. And in that quarrel, there is also durukti, usage of harsh speech. When there is anger, in order to inflict violence upon others, so there is a quarrel and profanity. Profanity is using wrong, not wrong, harsh speech. Harsh speech. So like that, a person ends up fighting with each other and speaking harsh words against each other. Like that. This is how adharma, the desire to perform adharmic activities, will take us to quarrel, 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 quarrel. It does not allow remain peaceful. Same way, one symptom of adharma we can see in the personality of Suruchi. Suruchi also used durukti, the harsh speech against Dhruva. So hearing those harsh speech, Dhruva became angry at Suruchi. So in one sense, all these things, adharma, lying, cheating, illusion, and then greed, deceit, anger, violence, quarrel, profanity, we should be careful. Any of these things are all part of adharma only. They all take us away from the Supreme Lord. If we take shelter of any of these things, so we should be careful. We will be going away from Supreme Lord. If you want to continue on the path of bhakti, we should be guarding ourselves from these adharmic qualities, adharmic activities. The family of Brahma's son, Adharma, is described. O killer of the enemy. This indicates to Vidura that the people like him kill Adharma. Dhamma means cheating. Maya means activity suitable for cheating. Though brother and sister, they had married, since they are amshas of Adharma. Niriti is in charge of southwest direction, inauspicious. Nikriti means deceit. Cheat others. Those activities which cheat others. So like that, a devotee should be guarding oneself against. If somebody somehow by mistake takes shelter of anger or profanity, what happens is what is described in the future pastime. Just one symptom of adharma is there in the Suruchi, and even Dhruva also becomes angry. So then Dhruva himself regrets later on why I became angry with my stepmother and stepbrother. So like that. But in any case, on a note of learning, we can see them like this. So in that way. Then further continues. Duruktau kaliradatta.
Duruktau kalir adatta.
Bhayam mrutyum cha sattama.
Vayam mrityum cha sattama.
Tayoscha mitunam yagne.
Tayoscha mitunam yagne.
Yatana nirayastata.
Yatana nirayastata. O greatest of all good men, by the combination of Kali and harsh speech, were born children named Mrityu, death, and Bhiti, fear. From the combination of Mrityu and Bhiti came children named Yatana, excessive pain, and Niraya, hell.
So when there is a lot of greed and deceit, by their combination, there comes quarrel and profanity. So is that? No. There comes anger and violence. When somebody is obstructing one's fulfillment of greed, there comes anger and violence. As part of the anger and violence, people start speaking bad words and also start quarreling with each other. So this brother and sister, they got married and they gave birth to fear and death. Eventually, people are afraid of death. If one starts making enmity with each and everyone, one cannot live peacefully. There is always fear. When the somebody people will attack me, etc., etc. And when the death will come, the end of my enjoyment. So finally, they attain death. After death, they will go to hell and get a yatana deha, and they go through pain for all the adharmic activities they have performed. This is the last end. That means, if at all one takes shelter of adharma knowingly or unknowingly, with sure they end up in hell by getting a yatana deha to get yatana, the result of their sinful activities. One may ask about the favorable and unfavorable elements for bhakti, the ultimate method described in the scriptures. The elements ending with hell, the family members of adharma, have been described as the unfavorable elements that should be avoided. So like that. So one should be careful about all these elements which are starting with adharma, ending with niraya, hell. So if we do adharma, we end up going to hell and get a yatana. They have to get yatana. So please, especially for devotees, should be careful about all these things. So like that, it is indicated. Sangrahena mayakyata
Sangrahena mayakyatah
pratisargastava
pratisargastamanaga
Sri Shrutvaita Tuman Punyam
Shrutvaitat puman punyam
Vidinoti Atmano Malam.
vidunoti atmano malam. Oh dear Vidura, I have summarily explained the causes of devastation. One who hears this description 3 times attains piety and washes their sinful contamination from his soul.
Oh sinless Vidura, briefly I have described destruction, Pratisarga. That means how we destroy ourselves by taking shelter of adharma is briefly indicated by the lineage of adharma. When we take shelter of adharma, eventually we land up in hell. This is the destruction a jiva goes through. One who hears this purifying description 3 times cleanses his mind of all sins. Every day we should read these verses 3 times so that the whole day we will remain careful from not doing all these things, adharmic activities. This is very important. So many times we may say that every Bhagavatam class, Prabhupada repeats that no intoxication, no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling. By hearing more and more, we become careful about ourselves not doing them. Same way, we should at least hear 3 times every day what is the lineage of adharma, so that we become careful of not becoming a victim of this. Sangrahena means in summary. Pratisarga means destruction. The above description is called destruction because it is a cause of destruction. An individual soul becomes destroyed by taking shelter of adharma. Oh sinless Vidura, you are not in this family of adharma. You never performed any adharmic activity, my dear Vidura. The description is purifying because by hearing it, one can avoid these items. By hearing these things, one becomes careful not to perform these things. Thus, one can avoid them. Thus, one can be progressing in one's spiritual path. That was the whole intention with which Maitreya is speaking about this. Now, the pastime of Uttanapada and his descendants will be starting. From now on, all the way up to 13th chapter, Dhruva Maharaj pastimes are mentioned, and Dhruva's descendants are described in 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Prutu Maharaj is being described. After Prutu, the Prachina Barhi, Prachetas, like that, the entire lineage of Uttanapada will be described in the 4th canto. Yeah. Any questions till now? Hare Krishna. All the devotees are following?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Atata kirtaye vamsham
अताता
तथा
कीर्तये वंशम्
पुण्यकीर्ते कुरुद्वः
पुण्यकीर्ते कुरुद्वः
स्वायम्भुवस्यापि मनोर्
स्वयंभुवस्यापि मनोर्
हरेरंशांश जन्मनः
हरेरंशांश जन्मनः. Maitreya continued, O best of the Kuru dynasty, I shall now describe before you the descendants of Swayambhuva Manu, who was born of a part of a plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
O best of the Kurus, I shall now describe the descendants of famous Swayambhuva Manu, who produced parts of the Supreme Lord. Now, I shall describe the sons of Swayambhuva Manu. Out of the two sons, the eldest one remained in the Gurukul as an Aishtika Brahmachari. The youngest one who came back, he got married and he became the ruler of the entire Bhumandala after Swayambhuva Manu. And then the descriptions are going to discuss. From Manu's lineage came portions of the Lord such as Kapila, Yajna, Prutu and Rishabha. So, in order to describe their glories, the different descendants of Uttanapada and Priyavata are described. So, like that. Priyavratottanapado
Priyavratato napado
Satarupapate Sutau
Satarupapate Shutau
Vasudevasya Kalaya
Vasudevasya Kalaya
Rakshayam Jagatastitau.
Rakshayam Jagatastitau. Swayambhuva Manu had two sons by his wife Satrupa, and the names of the sons were Uttanapada and Priyavrata. Because of both of them were descendants of a plenary expansion of Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they were very competent to rule the universe, to maintain and protect the citizens.
By his wife Shatarupa, Swayambhuva Manu had two sons, Uttanapada and Priyavrata, who appeared to protect the world as portions of Vasudeva. Basically, they appeared as the kings, the monarchs. The monarchy is the representative of Supreme Lord and Amsha of Supreme Lord. So, in that way, Naranamcha Naradipam, as Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord's Vibhuti is seen in the king as Naradipam. The king is the Vibhuti of the Supreme Lord. They represent the Supreme Lord to maintain and protect the Dharma. So, in that way, they were situated as portions of the Lord for the protection of the world by making sure that the Dharma is maintained, the Dharma is protected. So, in that way. So, now, out of the two sons, Priyavrata remained in the ashrama of the Naishika Brahmachari. Uttanapada came and he married to two ladies. Jaye Uttanapadasya
Jaye Uttanapadasya
Sunitihi Surichistayo
Suniti Surichistayo
Suruchis Preyasi Patyur
Suruchis Preyasi Patyor
Netaraya Suto Dhruva.
Netarayat Suto Dhruva. Translation: King Uttanapada had two queens named Suniti and Suruchi. Suruchi was much more dear to the king. Suniti, who had a son named Dhruva, was not his favorite.
King Uttanapada had two queens named Suniti, the eldest one, and Suruchi, the youngest one. Because she is young and beautiful, of the two, Suruchi was very dear to the king. Suniti, who had a son named Dhruva, was not dear to the king, the old wife, so she was not dear. Ekada Suruche Putram. Hare Krishna, someone repeat.
Ekada Suraches Putram.
Ankam Aropya Lalayan. Uttamam Naru Rukshantam.
Uttamam Naru Rakshatam.
Dhruvam Rajabhyanandata.
Dhruvam Rajabhya Tata Ramesh. Once upon a time, King Utanapada was hatting son of Uttama, placing him on his lap. So Maharaj was trying to get on his lap. King did not very much welcome him.
One day, Ekada, when King Uttanapada, placing the son of Suruchi, named Uttama, on his lap, was patting him, he did not acknowledge Dhruva, who wanted to climb on his lap. So, in the Antapura, in the palace of Suruchi, King Uttanapada, he was playing and cuddling the son of Suruchi, Uttama. So somehow, Dhruva, who was also a small kid, came there. And just like on one lap, Uttama was seated and father was cuddling. And Dhruva also trying to climb on the other lap. But somehow, out of, because the nearby Suruchi is also there, out of concern for Suruchi, Uttanapada did not acknowledge Dhruva, who was trying to climb on his lap. Just not to displease his wife Suruchi, so he did not acknowledge the endeavors of Dhruva to climb on his lap. So like that. So then what happened? Tata chikirshamanam tam
Tata chikirshamanam tam
tapatnyastanayam dhruvam
tapanyas dhruvam
suruchi shrunvato rajna
suruchi shrunvato rajnah
sersham ahati garvita.
Sershyam ahati garvita. While the child Dhruva Maharaja was trying to get on the lap of his father, Suruchi, the stepmother, became very envious of the child, and with great pride she began to speak so as to be heard by the king himself.
Suruchi, who was very proud, spoke with spite, Irshamaha, to the child Dhruva, the son of Suniti, Tapatnyam Tanayam, trying to climb on his father's lap, while the king was able to hear. When king was there, while king was cuddling Suruchi's son, when Dhruva was trying to climb onto the lap of king, when king was out of fear or out of concern for Suruchi, he was not acknowledging Dhruva's endeavors. But Suruchi noted this, and Suruchi spoke very harshly to Dhruva while king was listening. So she said, Navastan Nrupater Dishnyam
Navasta nrupater dishnyam
Bhavan Arodu Marhate
bhavan arodum arhati
Nagruhito Mayayatvam
nagrahito maya yatvam
Kukshav Api Nrupatmajaha.
ukshau api nrupatmajaha. Queen Suruchi told Dhruva Maharaja, "My dear child, you do not deserve to sit on the throne or on the lap of the king. Surely you are also the son of the king. But because you did not take your birth from my womb, you are not qualified to sit on your father's lap."
So here she is speaking very big words to a small child. She said that, my child, you do not deserve to sit on the lap of the king, because although you are also the king's son, you did not take your birth from my womb. She says that, though you are the son of Suniti, who was once upon a time the wife of king, but today, after marrying me, your father does not treat your wife as your mother as his wife, and you as his son. If at all today you want to sit on the lap of your father, and tomorrow you want to sit on the throne of your father, you should take birth from my womb. Only those children who take birth from my womb is qualified to sit on the throne, sit on the lap of the father. All others do not have any rights. Like that, she says. Dishnam means seat. You cannot sit there. So, one meaning of Dishnam is on the lap of the father. Second meaning of Dishnam is the throne of the father. So today you want to sit on the lap and tomorrow you want to sit on the throne. That is not possible for you because only those who are born from my womb can sit on the throne, can be with the king and can become the future king. You cannot do this. It is not meant for you. If at all you want this, I will make you the next king if you take birth from my womb. Like that. You cannot sit there because though you are the son of the king, you are not born from my womb. So like that. A small boy was spoken big words because Suruchi was attached to the kingship. That's why she is insecure without the position as Rajmata. She want to see that her son only become the king. Out of that insecurity, she want to keep Dhruva away from the king because Dhruva is elder in age compared to Uttama. Because she is the son of the old wife. So Dhruva is about 5 years old and Uttama might be maybe 3 years, 2 years, something like that we can say. So Suruchi might be thinking that okay, today he is sitting on the lap and the father becomes very close to the son. Future, the father will make him the king. So I should keep the father and son separate. With that intention, she is speaking all these harsh words. While king listening, and king also does not say anything. That we don't know why king does not say anything. There could be some reason which is not spoken in the Bhagavatam. But whatever it is, somehow or other, because of some reason, the king is under the control of Suruchi. So in that way we can understand. Palosi batanatmanam
Palosi Batanatmanam
Anyasri Garma Samrutam
Anyastri Garbha Sampratam
Nunam Veda Bhavan Yasya
Nunam Veda Bhavan Yashya
Durlabherte Manorataha.
Durlabherte Manoratah. My dear child, you are unaware that you were born not of my womb, but of another woman. Therefore, you should know that your attempt is doomed to failure. You are trying to fulfill a desire which is impossible to fulfill.
So Suruchi is saying that you are a child. Therefore, you having a desire for the impossible do not know that you are born from the womb of another woman. Yeah, you are a small kid, you don't understand what is happening around. You may think that everyone might be saying that this is your mother, he is your father, like that. But actually, you do not understand that your father does not consider your mother to be his wife and you to be his son. So you don't have any qualification to sit on the lap of your and also the throne of your father in the future. You are a child, you do not know all these I-5 matters. Like that she is telling. And she tells a solution. But if you want to you get the love and affection of your father and play on the lap of your father, future sit on the throne of the father, you should do something. What is that? Tapasaradhya Purusham.
Tapasaradhya Purusham
Tapasaradhya Purusham
Tasyaivanugrahena me.
Tasyaivanugrahena me
Garbhe tvam sadayatma. Yes, Prabhu, continue.
Atmanam
Yadi Chasi Nrupasanam.
Yadichasinrupasanam. If you at all desire to rise to the throne of the king, then you have to undergo several austerities. First of all, you must satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana, and then when you are favored by him because of such worship, you shall have take your next birth from my home.
Yeah. Now she says, how you can take birth from your womb? She says, Worshipping the Lord, worshipping Lord Vishnu by austerities, by Lord's mercy, place yourself in my womb if you want to sit on the king's lap. If at all you want to sit on the lap of the king, if at all you want to sit on the throne of the king, you should die. You should worship Lord Vishnu and die, and by Lord's blessings, you should take birth from a womb. This is what Suniti, Suruchi, the stepmother, tells to Dhruva, who is 5 years old boy. Indirectly telling that if you want to sit on the lap of your father, you should die and take birth from my womb. And after you die, you may not take birth from my womb. If you at all you want to take birth from my womb, you should worship Lord Vishnu. By Lord's blessings, you will become my son. Then you can sit on the throne. Her talk is to show the king that he has devotion, but she is not a real devotee. She is telling that you should worship Lord Vishnu, trying to indicate that I am the devotee of Lord Vishnu. Actually, she does not have any bhakti for Lord Vishnu. You must please yourself. You must place yourself in my womb. Then only you can get what you want. Now, satisfying the Lord by 3, 4, 5, or 6 brothers for getting into my womb, you should then quickly die. I will see your mother weeping. May you and I be happy. So first perform Vrata, please Lord Vishnu and die and enter my womb and take birth. Then you will get everything that you want. So like that, she tells Dhruva. Then hearing these words, how did Dhruva respond? That Maitreya speaks in the next section. Hare Krishna, all the devotees are following. Any questions?
Yes, Prabhuji, following.
Okay.
Following Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Maitreya Uvacha.
Maitreya Uvacha.
Matu sapatnya sadurukti vidda.
Matuhu sapatnyaha sardurukti viddaha.
Swashan rusha dandaha toyatahi. Hare Krishna, what happened? Hitva mishantam pitaram sannavacham.
Hitva mishantam pitaram
Jagamamatu prarudan shakasam.
Jagamamatuhu prararudan sakasam. Translation. The sage Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, as a snake, when struck by a stick, breathes very heavily, Dhruva Maharaja, having been struck by the strong words of his stepmother, began to breathe very heavily because of great anger. When he saw that his father was silent and did not protest, he immediately left the palace and went to his mother.
While his stepmother was speaking harshly like that, Dhruva was looking at his father. When father also did not say anything, feeling as if Dhruva leaves that place. Pierced by the harsh words of his mother's co-wife, breathing heavily in anger, like a snake struck by a stick, he left his silent father, who was watching, and went to his mother. So stepmother was speaking so strongly, but father was not saying anything because he cannot say because he's under control. So looking at his father who was not saying anything, he immediately went to his mother. Mishantam means watching. Sanna Vacham means weak speech because he was under the control of the co-wife, control of Suruchi. That's why he could not speak anything to stop her. Then Tam Nishvantam Spuritadaroshtam.
Tam niksvasantam spuritadaroštaham.
Sunite Ruspangavudhuya Balam.
Sunitir utsanga udurhya balam.
निशम्य तत्पौरमखान् नितान्तम्
निशम्य तत्पौरा मुकन् नितान्तम्
सा विव्यते यद्गदितं सपत्न्या
सा विव्यते यद्गतितं सपत्न्या. When Dhruva Maharaj reached his mother, his lips were trembling in anger and he was crying very grievously. Queen Suniti immediately lifted her son onto her lap, while the palace residents who had heard all the harsh words of Suruchi related everything in detail. Then Suniti also became greatly aggrieved.
When Dhruva cryingly left the palace of Suniti and went to the palace of Suniti, then what happened? Suniti lifted her son, who was breathing heavily, with trembling lips, onto her lap, and hearing from the citizens what had happened, she felt pain at the words of the poor wife. So, along with Dhruva, some ladies, the palace ladies who will take care of the Suniti and Suruchi, some of them also came along with Dhruva, and they informed what Suruchi said, because why Dhruva is crying like this. So Suruchi became so much pained. Because Suniti, what she can do? So Srujadaryam Vilalapa Shoka.
Sotrijyadaryam vilalapa shoka
Davagnina Davalateva Bhala.
davagnina dava lateva bala
Vyakyam Sapatnya Smarati Saroja.
vakyam sapatya samarati saroja
Kriya Drisha Bashpakalamuvaha.
shriya drishabhaspakalam buvaha.
Mataji, you wait, I will only explain. Like a forest creeper, Dava Lata Iva. Like a forest creeper, burned by the forest fire of lamentation. The woman, Sunuti, remembering the words of the poor wife and losing her self-control, began to lament, shedding tears of her lotus eyes. Spoke. See what Suruchi said? My dear child, if you want to sit on the lap of your father, you should worship Lord Vishnu by performing vrata, and then you should die. Then you should take birth from womb. For a mother to hear somebody else saying that you die and make your mother barren lady, that will be very much painful. Very much. First of all, she was not cared by her husband. Second, her co-wife is telling that all my children should die. That means she does not want to see me living normally. She wants to see me suffering. Seeing her pitiable condition, what she can do? She is like the forest creeper. Creeper born to the forest fire. So she cannot protect herself. She has no strength to protect herself from the forest fire. She only accepts the reversals in life. So she was simply crying for her unfortunate. But she is speaking some wise words to Dhruva. Very interesting words. Let us see. In that pitiable situation, also, if a person is able to guide one's own son like this, that shows her high character and high culture of Suniti. That's why her name is Suniti, Suniti, who even in the difficult situations does not leave away Niti, the moral values. Dirgham Swashanti Vrijinasya Param. Okay.
Dirgham swashanti virignyasya param
Apashyati Balapamahabala.
apashyati balakam ahabala
Ma Mangalam Tata Pareshu Mamsta.
Mamangalam tata pareshu mamsta.
Bhunte jeno yat paradukkhadastat.
Blankte jano yad dukkadastat.
Breathing heavily, dirgham sashanti. Not seeing an end of her suffering. Brijinasya param apashyanti. She spoke to her son, Balakam Ahabala. So basically, see her condition. First of all, her husband neglecting her. And then her son was also neglected by her husband. Then who will care? He's already given marriage to this king. It is the responsibility of king to take care of her. And she already became mother. And both herself and her child were neglected by the king. Then who will take care with whom she will express her pain, difficulties. So, but when the son was breathing heavily and expressing his anger towards Suruchi, that how can she speak to me like this? Boy was very angry. Then a kind mother, she's saying that Ma amangalam tata, O child, O vasta, Ma amangalam pareshu. Never ever wish amangala, never ever desire amangala. Because mamsta bhunte jenoyat, we simply have to eat the results of our own sinful activities. We simply have to enjoy the results of our own activities, good or bad. If we have performed good activities in the past, we enjoy now. If we have performed sinful activities, we have to experience misery now. Both I and you must have done something very wrong in the previous lives. In this life, we are only experiencing the results of our own activities. So never ever consider Suruchi or somebody else is the cause of your misery. Instead, the cause of our own misery is we ourselves, our own past misdeeds. O son, do not find fault in others, because those who have given suffering to others previously receive the same suffering in this life. Because we must have given some suffering to others in our previous life, today we are receiving the same suffering. Neither the king nor the queen are the cause of our sufferings are due to our own misdeeds in our life. Therefore, never ever find fault with others. The king is not at faulty and the queen is not at fault. The result of our misery is only we ourselves. Do not find fault in your stepmother. What she says about me is correct. Yes, the king does not consider me as his wife, that is correct. If the king does not consider me as his wife, how can the king consider you as his son? So don't expect too much from the king. Like that. You have experienced the results of sins you have committed in previous births. Since the person who gives suffering to others in the previous life receives it back, which mother can tell this to one's own son, especially in difficult situations? They don't speak of the good times. So Bhagavatam shows all the examples how a mother should be rearing their children. So nowadays, the parents or anybody, if something happens to their child, they will destroy the other person completely. Especially, there is a comparison. We always get these WhatsApp messages like in the past. The parents used to tell the teacher, please beat this child and teach him discipline. And nowadays, if the teacher, of course, there could be some wrong teachers also, but in general, if the teacher as a disciplinary action just gives one beating to the child goes and informs the parent. The parents immediately chastise the teacher, and they'll make sure that the teacher will be resigned from the school, or the child will be changed to the new other school. So much pampering is there nowadays. But here we see what kind of teaching the mother is teaching her son. Because of such a mother, the son became Dhruva. So like that we can understand from Bhagavatam what a mother, how a mother should take care of the child. Then she says, in fact, instead of finding fault with your stepmother, you should actually become grateful to her because what she said is right. She instructed you to worship Lord Vishnu. Only that will help you right now. That she says in the 18th verse. And with this 18th verse, we'll close for today. Satyam surucha vihitam bhavan me.
Satyam surucha bihitam bhavan me.
Yadurbhagaya udare grihitaha.
Yadurbhagaya udare grahitaha.
Sanyena vruddhascha vilajyateyam.
Sanyena vruddhascha vilajyateyam.
Bharyeti vavodumida idaspatirma.
Varyeti vavodum idaspatirmam.
What Suruchi said is true because you have been held in my womb, an unfortunate person, and have grown up by drinking my breast. But the king is ashamed to accept me as his wife or even as his son. Yes, you are unqualified and you are the most unfortunate person to sit on the lap of your father. Because your father does not consider me as his wife. Since you have been born through my womb, your father will not consider you as his son. Then how can he allow you to sit on his lap and play? That is not possible. To be held in my womb is itself misfortune for you. Because of your wrong misdeeds, you have been born through my womb. He is ashamed, the king is ashamed to accept me as his wife. He does not think of me as his wife, accepting the burden of protecting me and caring for me. He thinks me unsuitable to be his wife. Then how can you expect you to be accepted by the king as his son? He does not even think of me as his maid servant. Think of accepting me as his wife. So like that, our king Uttanapada, because he was not caring well Suruchi, Dhruva is put into. So one instruction she said, Ma amangalam tata pareshu amsta bhunte jenoyat. People experience suffering as a result of their own misdeeds in the past life. Therefore, never ever find fault with the object of. Don't find fault with your stepmother or with them. You and me are simply experiencing the result of our own. And then, what your stepmother, and another result of your misdeed is that you have been born from my womb, whom the king does not. So the result of another misdeed is you have been born from my womb. If you have been a pious soul, you could have been born of your stepmother, then you could have sat on the lap of your father. So very smoothly, very nicely, very gently, Suniti is instructing her son Dhruva. She is the mother. Hare Krishna. So we'll stop here. Sorry, I took a little more extra time, few minutes, since we started late and all. Of course, we have been going very slow for so many days. So just we need to do a little faster. So thank you very much for joining today's Bhakti Vaibhav class. Thank you very much to all the devotees. This week would have been a hectic week. There were drama festivals and today Maharaj Bhagavatam class was there in the temple and all. So all those things. So thank you very much. We'll continue next week. Hare Krishna. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Jai. Jai.